record.
Cool.
Okay, so what should we going to say now? Because everything will be recorded. There's one more joining, Marina. Marina is coming in now. People are.
It's so cool to see all of you.
Yeah.
You too.
Cool.
You're in Canggu, right?
No, I left actually this morning. I was in Canggu until this morning. I have to say Canggu doesn't agree with me. I was coming from a silent retreat and it was so noisy, so loud, so much like techno house and the construction and the talkative taxi driver. I was just, no, I can't. I can't. And Ubud felt much better, I have to say.
Oh, so you're in Ubud now?
Yeah. It surprisingly felt like home. Surprisingly, I didn't expect it. Yeah. Sanna, how was everything in Finland? All your retreats?
Yeah, thank you. Everything has been really good so far. I had one retreat in Finland so far, and then one in Norway, and there's the second Finland retreat coming up in July. So yeah, they've been really good. And just over the weekend, so not too long, so it's quite nice to have this short retreats. Sometimes though it feels like, yeah, it would be nicer to have a little longer, but then on the other hand, a lot of people are working and they appreciate the opportunity to not to need to take too much time off from work, so they can just do it over the weekend. And the weather's been amazing, absolutely amazing in the Northern Europe. Like I'm now in Sweden, in Stockholm actually, but both here and in Helsinki, Finland, it's been like amazing, near to 30 degrees and like Mediterranean weather, I don't know, we have
it seems that
high
people from Italy need to start to go to Finland, because my friends were telling me in Italy it's 45 degrees, they're all dying. So migration to Finland.
45 degrees, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's really insane. Yeah. But what happened, Ori? You got stuck in Bali, so you fell in love with Bali and now you're there.
No, so I was planning to stay the full 2 months that was available with a visa. And then initially I thought of doing a visa run and then coming back into Bali again. But it's not going to be worth it, because I will be going at the end of July to do a permaculture design course in Portugal, which is why I cannot join your retreat. And so nothing. So I'm kind of moving back. Initially, I thought I was going to stay in Ubud all the time, just soaking in all the different alternative practices and yoga things and everything, like Natalie did the last days before she left. And then somehow people were going places and going here and there, and I was like, fine, I'll join in. So like, I don't know what I was doing. I was talking with Nicole today. She's leaving tomorrow, and she's also still here, and then she will come back actually to live in Bali. So she's going back, to the UK for a couple of weeks, and then she'll just come back to Bali and like stay here. She has this big long-term plan. And I was talking with her that I have no idea what I'm doing, and so we decided that probably the thing I'm doing is just bouncing around and like playing. And I think that's a grand master plan, to just not have a master plan for the time being.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so fun. It's good to not have a plan sometimes. That's when the magic happens.
I kind of feel that I kept on like waiting. I think I told you that, but I feel like I kept on waiting for a sign, and I'm telling universe, okay, I'm open. Please like send me a sign. I didn't want a specific sign. I want a sign, like whatever you want to send me, that's fine. And the only sign I've got is radio silence. It's just like chill and like no sign for you. Just wait, and like, okay, fine. In the meanwhile, I'll try to be busy while I'm waiting for like things to be processed. Kind of like, yeah. But good, yeah. How about
Marina's like the wrong way.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Marina.
Hello.
You are like that.
Sorry, I was trying to get into this, and yeah, but now I'm here. Nice to
So,
see
Mari,
you all.
Mari, are you still in Maldives or crazy places?
No, I'm back home now.
Your
Back
hair
in the
looks so
game.
different, straight. Your hair looks so different.
Yeah, that was actually my first visit. I went to a hairdresser.
Love it. It suits you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you all doing?
Good.
Marina,
Yeah,
where are
doing
you?
good.
Actually? Marina,
Yes.
sorry, where are you actually?
So my home is in Munich, Germany.
Okay, you are there now.
Yes, yes. I actually returned last week Sunday, but I already been to my to a workshop the last 4 days. So this is actually one of my first nights in my home, and it's nice to be home. So we have lovely weather. The sun is shining. I mean, it's not as hot as in Bali, so I miss this a little bit, but the temperature is super nice, and yeah, it's great to be back. And then I saw like, oh no, the Zoom call is right now. So I was like writing my friends, I will come in an hour. I'm 100% swearing I'm coming, but I'm coming in an hour. Yeah, it's nice catching up with all the people from back home, and yeah, super nice. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Are you guys, any of you, have you started to teach yoga yet?
Not yet, but I've booked on to cover one in 2 weeks. So I am going to be soon, but not yet.
How about Mikkel?
I've taught one class, but for my girlfriend. But yeah, that was fun doing it in Danish. That was yeah. Have to think a lot more when I teach, because we learned all the cues and the sentences in English, and now I have to do it in Danish, and some of it doesn't translate really well. So it's all about finding the words and the language. But it was really fun.
You know, I personally haven't taught yet, but I was thinking about the same thing. I was like, oh, now I'm going back. I'll organize something in the park for all my friends, just for free, just for fun. And I was thinking, wow, all the cues, like, how do you say, like right leg up, like in Italian is much longer, and then like stretch this and float that, and like tuck the toes. I still haven't figured out how to say tuck the toes in Italian. So I think we'll just brand it as an English, like vinyasa class. You're amazing though that you managed to do it in Danish.
I think some of the words I just fling off in English as well, like talk. I don't know how to say it in Danish, so I would just say talk, I guess.
But Danish people are so international; they all speak English anyway, so you can totally mix and match. I mean, what I noticed in Sweden, for example, here in Stockholm in the yoga classes, the teachers, they use a fair amount of English words, because it's just like it flows better, and there's a lot of the names of the poses, they don't even try to translate them into Swedish, they just use the English words. So I think you can totally mix and match. When I teach in English, I always mix English as well. It's just exactly like Ori also described, that certain things they don't even translate too well. They are not so user friendly, in some other language. So yeah, whatever works for you, as long as the people can follow, and you can always read the room, you can see whether it works for them or not. So I can't see any problem like using a bit of English here and there. Yeah. How about Andreas? Are you teaching?
No, I didn't till now, but I'm looking for a place where they hire a yoga teacher, or they need a yoga teacher. And I think I will meet them next week. But I use a lot of the things we did at work because I'm a physiotherapist.
Ah, yes.
And so now I'm doing a lot more of breathing and some movements we did with the patients, and it's working very well.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you can also start to teach your family members. So have you thought about that, like teaching your friends or your family?
Yeah, I already asked some friends, and we will do a session, I think, in 3 weeks.
Beautiful.
So we managed to find a time together there,
Beautiful.
and then I will teach them.
Wonderful. That's so good. And Ori has a funny message there. She has just turned her video off for the time being, so we can't see her eating. Come on, Ori, it's fine. We enjoy seeing you eating. So have you, Ori,
Well,
have you taught yoga?
oh, sorry, I was thinking where was the microphone. I haven't, no, but I actually so I had an idea, and I think I will need all of your support in, let's say, a month or so. So I'm just like, it's still like an embryo of an idea. It's like a baby of an idea, but I'm thinking I wanted to try to do some sequencing, very fluid in the sense of putting in some sort of contemporary dance style movement. Not really a choreography, because the choreography, then people just are outside of their own body and they need to like follow and try to remember things, so that doesn't work. But just to have, the beautiful like flowy movements, like Carlos does, or like Jasmine, or also like you, Sanna, when you had to like move like this, and just add a bit more contemporary stuff. So I haven't thought, but I want to plan a sequence, and then I need all of you to be my guinea pigs and try it over Zoom, so we see whether it goes well or it tanks completely. So yeah, so that's kind of exciting, but I haven't taught anything yet. I haven't done like, in the past month, I managed to crack my head when I was in Gili, and then I had an eye infection. And like overall, let's say that like I haven't done a lot of like great stuff. Like not very great stuff happened to me, but yeah. Actually, let me tell you, since we're like still, killing time. Today something completely random happened to me. A guy, so I just bought this hat and I was very unsure because it was a bit expensive, but whatever. And a guy stopped me on the street and he said, well, I'm a photographer. And I thought, nah, someone who wants to like offer to do a photo shoot for me to pay. And actually he said, yeah, I take street fashion photography here in Newport. Can I take your photo? I was like, are you talking about me? Are you serious? So I got this guy to take a street fashion photography of myself. I still can't believe it. Yeah. So yeah, but I haven't taught. So like plans and like random things, but like nothing practical.
Okay, cool. But it's a good idea. Actually, that's something you all could do, is to yes, these Zoom calls they work really well for online yoga. You could all like prepare just a short sequence, doesn't have to be so long, mini sequence, maybe even 10-15 minutes, and then you could all teach one by one. It could be even like maybe one of the next upcoming sessions, Zoom sessions, once we really get the time so that everybody can do it. And then one by one, everybody would teach, everybody would be a student, and then everybody would have their own turn to also step into the shoes of the teacher. So, and then that would be very obviously supportive opportunity for everyone, because you all know each other already, and you know that you all are there to support each other. Nobody's there to judge or criticize or laugh or whatever. So that's something you could think about if you're up for it. Yeah.
I think you already talked about that, Ori, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we were thinking, Sanna, when we did the final demonstration,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were saying, it's too bad that we could only do the classes of the people that were together with us in the group, because everybody really would have wanted to try all the different classes. And I think it was actually Mikkel that said, well, it would be really nice if we could all do the other classes. And then we thought, why don't we start to do whatever, like a bi-weekly or like a monthly thing, and then we could also have necessary, maybe also different time zone, and not everybody can join every time, but then we have one kind of guest teacher and then some guest students, and then we keep on rotating so we can keep in the practice of teaching, and also we can have other, we have amazing yoga classes for free, basically. I mean, that's really cool. The only thing that I was thinking about, and actually that's actually a question that I would love to ask, is that I think we learned a lot to cue instead of demonstrating. But then I was thinking, on Zoom, probably the format is a bit different, because you don't just sit there watching your students while you cue. You probably do it together. Or how would you organize it, the kind of online classes?
Yeah, I mean, actually teaching online is I personally find it's way more demanding than teaching in person. And why? It's because, when you're teaching online, you basically have to do everything yourself, most of the stuff, because otherwise it's really weird for the people who are on the other side of the screen if they are just only seeing a teacher who's sitting there or standing there. So it makes much more sense for the students if the teacher is basically doing everything or most of the stuff. I mean, obviously, if you make your students to, repeat, let's say, some salutations over and over again, then you can just guide them into that and then stop doing them yourself for a while. But if it's like a sequence, flowing sequence, going from one thing to the other, it's the easiest for the students if the teacher is basically doing everything. And why it's challenging? Well, for the teacher, of course, for that reason that, the teacher keeps on practicing everything herself or himself and talking at the same time. So, I personally find online teaching way more challenging in that sense, because then you also got to be clear enough, with your voice, with your cues, and you're practicing everything fully kind of at the same time. So it's definitely completely a different kind of setting than teaching in person.
Yeah.
What about corrections? Because I remember sometimes I did some online classes where the teacher sometimes would scroll through Zoom and try to give kind of suggestion for corrections, but always I don't know, do you do that? You feel like you just live it, or how would you approach corrections?
Well, it depends on a few different things. One is, what type of practice it is. If it's like vinyasa, which is moving from one thing to the other, it's a little bit hard to give the corrections online. On the other hand, if it's a vinyasa sequence which you sort of repeat over and over again, so you make them to repeat that same sequence so they know it already by heart, then you can start to stand by the computer and really start to observe each student. So it depends, what is your teaching style? Are you making them to repeat the same sequence, or are you sort of changing all the time? And then it depends, on the style of practice. So let's say if it was something like Ashtanga Vinyasa yoga, where they always do kind of the same stuff over and over again, it's always the same very repetitive sequence, then it's quite easy for the teacher to correct the students. But if it's a vinyasa sequence which is completely different each time, it could be even quite random, something that you haven't necessarily even prepared in beforehand, you're sort of composing as you're there, then it's sort of hard to give those corrections. So it really depends on the teacher also. You don't have to, when you teach online, give corrections. And in all honesty, it is quite difficult to see also, you know, it's quite difficult to see, especially if you have quite a few people in the session. It's not so easy to see. So you gotta emphasize then more the fact that everybody's responsible for their own practice, and nobody should push, nobody should try to, you know, go over their limits. So rather, it's better to kind of like hold back a bit and take it a bit easy, a bit soft first. But yeah, that is definitely one thing, is the adjust. Obviously you can't adjust people, and you can't really give proper corrections. So that is maybe something that is lacking in the online teaching. However, it's still, what I've noticed with the students, they still feel that it's a great benefit that there is such a service like online teaching. And usually, you know, people who are total beginners, they tend to go to the in-person classes first. And at least what I've been teaching online, they are already students who've been maybe coming to my classes in person before, or they've been going to some other teachers, so they kind of like know the basics. So they are beyond that like risk of, you know, getting injured, whatever.
I was going to ask if anyone has felt like doing yoga back home has felt any different, because I went to a class, my first class back last night, and my experience of doing a class was completely different. And this teacher did body work at the end. So I did Carlos's 3-day immersion, which was all body work. And she actually did body work on everyone for 5 minutes at the end. And I was like, this is weird. So like, I don't know whether there's something shifted for me or whether that's just because I'm open to it, but I just feel like I'm tapping into something that's completely different now when I'm receiving classes from people. And I don't know if anyone has experienced that or just experiences the process differently now. Just me, maybe. I was like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening.
So I went to a couple of yoga classes. They're still here in Bali, but I would say one especially was very representative of some classes that I definitely could find back in Italy. So one class I went to it with actually with Irini and also with Janice, and it was in Uluwatu. And we finished the entire thing thinking, okay, this is exactly a class that we could have taught right now, and probably even a tiny bit better. This was like strange to say. But yeah. And then I feel that, I don't know, I find it for me, so that class, it was hard to follow the teacher because I felt that I wasn't really learning so much new stuff, and there wasn't any specific, as arrogant as that might sound, I felt that I couldn't really absorb a lot. But today we went to this place, maybe actually, Sanna, you know it, I was with Pauline in Canggu in this place called The Practice, that focuses, it's very interesting, very, very interesting. And the practice was a hatha practice, but with a lot of, they had some kriyas, they had different forms of pranayama. It was quite interesting. So at that point, I felt that, I felt, well, stronger, like physically, and more, you know, more focused, more in tune than before the yoga teacher training. But I had the same experience as going to a class back in Europe, everything was like, I could absorb a lot of things were new. Probably I was also following it and kind of plugging it into a framework that now I have and maybe before I didn't have. This class that was very different from was like quite different. So yeah, it wasn't like tiny things that I could learn. But yeah, I don't know about the others.
What about the others? What about Marina, Mikkel, and Andreas? Have you felt the difference? I mean, it was quite a good question from Natalie, that when you go now to other teachers' classes, do you feel it's a different kind of experience, like before you did the YTT and now after? Are you sort of experiencing the class with your body in a different way? And also, have you noticed that you sort of tend to think in a different way, like maybe you make notes about the sequence that the teacher is teaching, or yeah.
So I haven't been to a proper yoga class after that, because I was just like practicing what I've learned on my own body. Yeah, there was actually on the Maldives no yoga classes, or there was like actually no offering at all. And since I'm back home, I'm just like running from place to place to see some friends. And then I also went to my coaching education. But at the same time, I can highly echo what you said, because like for me, my entire yoga practice changed. So the way I move, and I was actually doing a YouTube class with Carlos, which was quite funny, because I wanted to to kind of like get into how he is doing the poses a little bit more. And so I was practicing on my own body. And the last 3 days when I've been to my coaching education, I was practicing in a park, and there were like people passing me by, and they were asking me what I'm doing, because maybe it looked a little bit different than the normal way you would do yoga. So that was kind of like new to me, but at the same time, and I wanted to make this point because I kind of got forced to teach a yoga class by my peers from my coaching training. And it's been amazing, because we had, I had like 13 students, which was a lot for me, and actually also a lot of preparation for me. But at the same time, they watched me like doing this dives, which Carlos is always doing, and which is a little bit more intuitive, which brings you faster to your emotions, which actually fitted quite well with the things we were doing in the coaching education. So yeah, I was like teaching my first class, which was like totally different from the sequence I did at the end of the yoga teacher training. And I kind of feel that I need to go to other yoga classes to get some further inspiration, but just time-wise, I practiced my own stuff on my own body, and I still detect myself that yoga is giving me so much energy back. And actually, when I'm doing it even 10 or 15 minutes before I get my proper day started outside, I experience a totally different world. And this is actually what I can share from my past 2.5 weeks. But it's been magical. And I really hope that once I return to work, which will be on Monday, I keep doing that because I know that I need it. But really, yoga and the love I actually feel for yoga right now has changed a lot. Yeah.
Lovely. And by the way, when you mentioned, Marina, that you were practicing in a park outside, you could so easily teach people outside. That's what I love myself. I mean, it's not everyone who loves to teach outside. I know actually a colleague of mine, she told me the other day that she absolutely dislikes park yoga. She dislikes to teach outdoors. But for me, I really love to both practice and teach outside, especially as in Europe, the summer is kind of like limited, and you can't do it round year. So it's a novelty to be able to practice outside. So if you like to practice in the park yourself, you could as well, turn it into a yoga class, a public class. And, you can keep very low price because you don't have a cost. You don't have any rental cost. And what I'm doing at the moment, my park yoga is quite cheap, because I feel like it should be easily accessible for anyone, so that the price shouldn't be like kind of like the issue. So what I'm charging, just to give you some kind of idea, is that it's €7 for anyone, and then it's €5 for students, or unemployed or elderly people, and then it's zero. It's nothing for people who are in financial, dire straits, so who are having difficulties with their finances. So people can basically choose. It's a bit based on the kind of like also some kind of, like how the people feel that where they are at, and based on the honesty, what they feel to like leaving. But at least in places like Finland, people are very honest and nobody's trying to take advantage and not to pay anything. I mean, everybody's paying something if they have some money. So, but that's something you could try. It's very nice to teach outside, and what I noticed from the students, they really love it too. They really appreciate practice in the fresh air. Yeah.
That's actually what I did then the day after, exactly at the place I practiced the day before. I hold my very first yoga class, and there was actually like the girl who asked me the day before, what am I doing there? Because like the movements were looking so different, and I mean it was just like the movements with the arms probably, which felt a little bit different. But she was actually coming as well. I gave the class for free, which felt better for me because I felt like, oh, I could have prepared a bit more in that. But at the same time, I really had no time to prepare that. So I did this out of my head. And it was a lot of sun A's and sun B's, but it was totally fine because nobody noticed. And they enjoyed the slow movement. So yeah, it was nice because I never wanted to become a yoga teacher, but then suddenly I got forced to be one because everyone knew that I've been in Bali and they were curious and experiencing it themselves. So I think that even if you practice back home in a park, it might be that you find customers because they are watching you and they want to practice yoga with you. So I highly echo what you're saying, Sanna. And it was new to me because I felt like maybe one day when I start teaching yoga, it's a tough journey because I need to find customers. That's how I thought about it. But then I didn't think about it at all. And I was in that park, and then there were more and more people talking to me. And then my coaching peers kind of forced me to teach a class on the next day because everybody brought yoga pants and yoga dresses. So it was pretty nice. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's really wonderful. Beautiful. I love that how you said that they forced you to teach a yoga class. So, but sometimes, we need to be even forced,
Yeah.
I know that feeling. I have an event tomorrow for the Wellbeing Girl, and one of my practitioners pulled out, and I'm going to be facilitating a women's circle tomorrow, Sanna. So you've inspired me because your women's circle we did. I'm going to recreate something similar for half an hour, and I've never done anything like that before. So I know what you feel. I know how it feels being pushed in, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. Like I don't have a choice, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But sometimes that's how you need to do it, isn't it? For the first time, I would have never done that myself. So I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's you don't always have to have like a pre-plan. I mean, you can loosely think maybe, how many people you're actually going to have, do you know?
35.
And they're all women or?
All women.
Okay. And do they have some kind of like background, like some issues or trauma?
They've all been through a program with me before. So like we've done a lot of work on personal development together. But I think what I'm quite keen to do is bring some Bali back with me to them.
Yeah.
So I'm actually thinking about, I'm doing it with a friend, but I'm thinking about doing some chanting.
Yeah, definitely do that. Yeah, absolutely. Do that. And did you actually, did you have a chance later on the trainings after I left? Did you have a session with Pavan or not?
Yeah.
You did. So you did a little bit more chanting with him as well. Perfect. So yeah, bring that in, and then you can, always read something inspiring, or you can let them to read. You can have a little book with different poems, and you can maybe let them to read. Sometimes people quite like to read themselves. like, do you have any cards? Do you have those inspirational cards? Yeah, so you can
Yeah,
also
I was thinking of doing a few bits like that as well and getting them to pull a card. But I'm also like, the activities we did around like eye contact and things. I feel like
yeah.
I bring a few of those in because I don't know how they'll be, but I just think it's about bringing a few little gifts from Bali back to share with them.
Yeah, the eye gazing is really powerful, and especially as you said that they've done a program with you already, so you have that connection already with them, and they have connection with each other. So then to bringing the eye gazing would be very, very powerful, because it would make the connection, the bond, much deeper. So yeah, do that, and then they can share afterwards how the experience was, what did it possibly bring up to the surface. Yeah, it will go awesome. I know it will be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, perfect. So anyone wants to share something life-changing, any secrets, any
Sorry, Sanna, wasn't the yoga teacher training life changing enough? Or are we supposed to have another life change in the last like 3 weeks that didn't happen in the yoga teacher training? I have questions. I don't have anything life changing, but I have questions. So I'll store my questions for after the life changing moments of the others.
Okay. Anyone wants to share anything before Ori's question?
I feel like so I just went back to work for 1 week, and I felt like my whole view on things was very different. Like it's kind of like I had a value shift of what's important to me in life. So I actually felt, I'm not sure if it's something life changing, but I feel like this underlying feeling that I need to do something more than just my 9 to 5 job. Because I had 1 week back and I was just sitting at the computer looking into the screen doing whatever like I usually do, and it just felt like something more needed to happen, but I'm not really sure how much and how it's going to look. I actually feel a bit confused about it all, but I definitely feel there's a switch from before. So now I'm just trying to figure out what's actually going to happen. And I keep trying to remind myself of everything from the teacher training and, all the things from here in Bali. But yeah, I think it's hard to like take everything you feel and then integrate it into reality.
Yeah, I completely resonate with that. Yeah,
I feel like completely confused. Like,
yeah, I don't feel like I fit in here right now in England, and I feel like so I need to just. Hence, I know me and Andrea's thinking about Bali anyway, but it definitely feels like a really big crossroads in my life. Like I look around at everyone, and I don't want what they have and what they're doing. I want something different, but it's really scary to be the only person feeling that. It feels really, really hard. But
yeah,
it's natural that we would feel like that. But it's like, I feel like I look around and I'm just like a bit, confused at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. It's yeah, I think it's hard to put words on it. Actually, it's more of a feeling. But I think I also feel like it's as you said, it's a crossroads, but it can go both ways, right? So you can choose not to do anything and just go back to usual habits, or you could decide to do something. And I think that's it's actually, I think it puts a little bit of a pressure on myself that I know that I can decide to go this way, but I need to do something. I know I need to change something, but it's still hard to there's no recipe.
Yeah, one thing that helped me, Mikhail, is I had an astrology reading this morning with someone I met in Bali, and that really helped. I don't know if any of you are into astrology, but it really helped me just understand like what's going on in my own world at the moment, and helped me realize like, I don't know, just realize it wasn't more than just in my head, if that makes sense. So it just really helped me realize, like, no, this is the right thing for me right now, because she just said, like, oh my God, literally there's so much going on in your chart, and it just kind of made me feel like, okay, that's why I feel like I'm at this massive crossroads. So it might be that something like that, or human design, something like a reading like that, might just give you a bit of clarity as well, because I think it gets confusing whether it's for me. I feel like sometimes I make it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or make things hard for myself, but actually, like, we all have our unique paths, don't we?
Yeah.
How about Andreas?
Yeah, for me it was a lot of ups and downs, and like my job felt very, very good. I didn't expect that. So I really saw that I can put in this 9 to 5 job a lot of love and energy, and that I can be so grateful, and that even just that I can walk to my workplace is very nice, and that I don't need a car. And I was so grateful for all the things, and I really noticed that in this way, the thing I'm doing really changed. And on the other hand, it was like, I don't know what to do and when to quit this, or if I should stay longer, and all those financial questions, and family and friends and relationships. And yeah, I realized that there are many opportunities, and most of them are very good. So it's even harder to decide what to do. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I felt like quitting now, and then I feel like, oh, I just want to stay in this environment and like have more experiences here, because I can like learn how to be with people in my at my job so good. And I really want to go on with like physiotherapy or body work, and also integrate yoga, or the other way around. I think it's both. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I stay a few more months and practice some yoga, and there is an opportunity for me to get a yoga job here, so I could do both things, be financially more free, and then maybe move on. But I really don't know. It's 2 days it's like this, and the other 2 days it's something else.
Yeah, yeah. The YTT is really, it's kind of like one of its I don't know if we should say meanings or aims is really to act as some kind of like wake up call, you know. So usually it sort of shakes us up a little bit, and then after the training, we either some people, they basically leave their jobs, or they leave their relationships, or they decide to move to another country, or they decide to stay in Bali and start to live there, whatever. But it doesn't have to be that traumatic always. Another way really is to kind of like, it gives this clarity to realize that, okay, what can I do with my current job? A bit like what Andreas said. So as you have more that clarity, and then you have learned a bit more about the the ethics and the yoga ethics we can apply to all the different areas in our lives, so that how can we function better in a more ethical way in our, let's say, already in that job that we have, or already in that relationship that we have, or whatever it is now that is going on in life. So that is the wonderful thing, that doesn't always have to be such a dramatic change. And also it gives, like, even though I know, and Natalie, you said that you have this feeling that, like, not belonging and being kind of like a weirdo, I know what you mean. That kind of like feeling that like some kind of alien, visiting different kind of planet, whatever, something like that. But then also at the same time, we start to be able to see through that weirdness, kind of like with more compassion and level of understanding, you know, like we see through other people's weirdness, and we realize that, okay, we all, at the end of the day, we all just want to be happy. We all just want to, you know, escape the suffering and pain. And people have just so many different ways of doing it. And it's not always that we agree with those different ways. We all have so many different ways, but we still somehow start to be able to apply that kind of like compassion more, as maybe before we were a bit more quick to, you know, justify, like judge people, or, you know, like somehow always feel like, oh, my ways of doing things are right and others are wrong. But now maybe we are able a little bit more to understand that, okay, there's so many different ways of doing things, and we don't have to agree with all these different things. We just see more through compassion, and through more this kind of like inner wisdom and kindness. Yeah, it's a big topic. It's a big topic, but let's just say for now like this, that it doesn't have to be always so dramatic, and this feeling of being alien or not fitting in, it doesn't necessarily last, you know, forever. And also it can last for a long time, and then maybe it's pushing you to make some changes, you know, in your life. But the main thing is that, you know, whatever you're doing, it's sort of like giving you this feeling that it matters, that you're making the change in your own little ways. And I'm sure, Natalie, you're doing already with the line of work that you're doing and with your charity and everything. So you definitely are already making a lot of change. And then again, Andreas, in his work as a physiotherapist, you know, he can apply a lot of that wisdom, you know, that you got from the training. So yeah, it's a big topic. It's definitely a really big topic.
Yeah.
Ori, you had some question there, right?
Yes, but now I'm feeling that we're bringing up all these very important philosophical, existential questions, and I had more kind of boring, like down, not even down to it, just like more boring questions. So everybody will need to excuse me that like I didn't prepare very high level questions this time. Next time I'll prepare a more high level question. Now, I had actual practical, like so questions, like two practical questions. One is the more like yoga philosophy type of questions. So as I said yesterday morning, this morning. It feels already yesterday. This morning I went to the practice, which is this yoga studio in Canggu, where they do hatha yoga. And the guy that taught the hatha yoga class, so he talked about the fact that in previous classes, which I didn't attend, they worked mostly on the moon side, the feminine side, and then once that was like ready and prepared, and he associated it somewhat with the mind, I think. When that was stable, then now the class that I participated in, we were going to move more into the sun part, the yang part, yang mean like yin yang part, etc. And then he talked about 5 different, and I didn't understand what they were, whether they were forms of energy, something. One of them was the aura, so the kind of egg-shaped like thing around, and I just got completely lost. Like I didn't understand the framework of reference that he was referring to, first like aspect, and then the second aspect is I still, like, once we talked about the origin of yoga, I still in my mind felt that at a certain point we looked at the like vinyasa, like lineage, with like like Patabi Joyce, etc. And the one before, which I sort of know the name, but also sort of don't like forgot it. I should study it again. But then I was thinking, where does Hatha fit in? Also because I was doing a bit of reading at this Bali silent retreat, and they were talking about the word like Hatha being again part of a different framework, which I also didn't quite understand. And so I wanted to ask if we can take a step like higher, a step back from the vinyasa that we saw, and if you could help me as like place where all these other like types of yoga come, like the hatha especially, but I was also thinking about the kundalini yoga, which also you told me is a different like line again, because I know that Jivamukti or like others come from Patabi Joyce and that part there. So I would imagine also like Sivananda and the others, but I was curious. And then I also like asked the second question, and depending on the time or the interest, I mean, you can answer whatever. And then the second question was to sort of continue in the entire studying, apart from studying on your own and, you know, continue practicing with different teachers and the rest. But I was somehow thinking whether you would recommend us to go for, let's say, other like workshop, like 50-hour stuff, 100-hour stuff, or whether there is something useful in doing another, for instance, like 200 hours, or whether it's better to just go for a 300 hours, because I find that there are certain things that maybe I still would like to have more of understanding of. And so I was also wondering, where do you see our developments could sort of go? So those were the two boring questions.
Well,
They're not boring at all. That's like a really cool question.
yeah, right. That's how I felt too. It's nothing boring. How can you say it's boring at all?
Hi, Sandy.
Hey, Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Oh, it's so nice to see you.
Can
I
you hear
can't see
us?
everyone. Oops. Okay, almost fell down. Sorry, I was just having dinner. I emailed you, Sanna. Oh my God, hi, Nat.
Guys, Sandy has news. We need to ask her. I want to hear the news about today. Sandy has news about like developments and stuff.
Sorry, what? Sorry, the staff?
What's
No,
your
I was saying before we were talking about who taught yoga classes already, how things have been since yoga teacher training, and I was thinking you have news for us.
Yeah. News. Which news? Okay, so first is, well, I taught my first yoga, but it was hilarious. It was with my boyfriend, so he was kind of fail. The second one is I am now a wellness consultant in a 5-star thing, but I know it's different. I'm just a sub. I'm a substitute, so yeah, I'm still learning it. I came from it today. It was a shadowing, so it's all new. It's crazy. Oh my God, I haven't even replied to half a few girls here, but yeah, so we just moved houses today and I'm getting settled in, and today was also the first day in shadowing, so it's crazy. Don't know where this is gonna lead me, but yeah. How's everyone? How's you, Sanna?
We all are good. We all are good. We just did our little checking round here, and we were just wondering where's everyone, you know, because we've been like on this call now for over 1 hour. So maybe Saturday is not the best day.
No.
No.
So I was so tired because I came from Nusa Dua. I had a 4-hour drive. Like going there and back now from Canggu is crazy. 4 hours.
No.
What the heck? Yeah, and it was like holding space in consultations with everyone. So it was so different. It's way different from yoga because it's more like emotional and creating the program for them. But also, I guess the eye opener for me today was, well, I'll just share in the group, but basically learning these wellness 5-star resorts are not exactly the same as what they are. Like how they take care of the people, you know, like the pay is different, but it's more also like the wellness of them. The wellness of people who give wellness are not exactly how it looks like. So it's like on the outside in and inside out. So I think that was my biggest eye opener of the day. And I'm not even exhausted physically, but it's more like the space that you held on like helping, shadowing, you know. So that for me is like, do I really want this? Like sometimes it makes me wonder, but also poses a challenge for you. Like, what can we do to change it up? You know, like everyone's out there, everyone's like known as 5-star, but what they're doing to their team is not even wellness. It defies everything. They don't even have time for kids. It's just beyond me. So a while ago, I was just so heartbroken going home. I'm like, do I really want to do this? You know, it's unfair. Yeah.
You know, it's not exactly the same thing but when I used to work in humanitarian and development corporation, I felt exactly the same. I was thinking, you're supposed to be there helping people, and all the organizations that actually are there supposedly helping people, they're just not humanitarian in nature, in the way they treat their staff and everything else is just, yeah, completely like backwards.
Yeah.
Sandy's gone.
Yeah, Sandy's gone for now. Just,
I was just going to say, Sandy, before I left, she maybe can't hear, but she basically turned my program that I'm writing at the moment. It's called Becoming, and she turned my program name into a mantra, and all my pens arrived today which say I am becoming, and that was all her. Like she literally just like turned it into this statement, and then I basically got these for the ladies tomorrow. So I just wanted to show her that she made this happen, the fact that she actually just made me think about that in a different way. And she can't see it now, but I'll send her a picture of it. But it's amazing how like someone can just say something to you and it completely then brings about like something so awesome. I've never been so excited about pens before in my life. Honestly, I don't know what's happening to me, but she probably didn't hear, but I just wanted to say thank you to her.
That's beautiful. What fantastic. Good teamwork, Sandy and Natalie. Love that. Love that. No, but pen is something that everybody needs, you know. So
she's gone. She definitely didn't hear that.
She's gone. Yeah, but do message her. And I love the idea about taking the picture of your pen. So do that. Yeah. So Ori, just to very quickly answer your sort of long and interesting question. I mean, we could have like one-to-one session about that as well. However, it's just like an overall thing. You know, firstly, when it comes to what to study next, firstly, like everyone's slightly different. Everyone's needs are slightly different. You know, everyone needs to look what is like what they personally are interested. Andres is leaving. Like I said before, I am at the birthday party today, and so I will leave now. Yes. Yeah. Andres had to go. Yeah, cool. So yeah, it depends a bit like what everyone's interested in, and it sort of goes back to the you know, the different paths of yoga. So, you know, whether you consider yourself as a karma yogi, someone who's into action and sort of like through action, rightful action, you know, going through your path, you know, doing like a bit like what Natalie's doing, like charity work, or are you jnana yogi, you know, someone who really wants to study the books, or are you bhakti yogi, you know, is it more the devotional love? So yeah, it's a bit, and it's also a question of different taste, you know, like what really feels joy to your heart, you know. So personally, I feel that everyone benefits from studying more the yoga philosophy, because, you know, all the essence is there. However, it's not necessarily for everyone, you know. So maybe, yeah, someone is more into the path of karma or path of bhakti, but I would say something that I can, for now, I could offer if people are interested is, as we spoke with some of you in Bali in person, that some people were quite interested to carry on with the yoga philosophy, as we kind of like touch, you know, the surface in the training. So if any one of you in the group are interested to study a bit more, take a little bit further the yoga philosophy, we could do like an online Yeah, okay, Natalie, that's great. We could do it like an online course. And anyways, these days, so much is online. And that doesn't really have to be in person anyways. So we can also combine it with a bit of chanting as well. We could look at mantras together and yeah, yoga philosophy. So why don't we do it this way, that first of all, we need to really find the day and time that would work for most of the people, because now
Shall I set up a doodle poll, like just for everyone, so that we can all input
Yes.
days, times, and then we can send that to the group and then just see if we can maybe commit to a slot that works for everyone? Because I'm guessing most people work 9 till 5, but we can probably try and find a few slots that the majority can attend.
Yeah, exactly. That would be fab. And we could think whether it's user friendly to have it like once a week, or should it be rather the like, every other week. So you could sort of play a little bit with these different sort of scenarios and see what would work for most of the people. So yeah, so that you guys would feel that it's something that is realistic, is something that is doable. So we could do something like that for sure. And then generally speaking, I mean, if I think about my own yoga hunger, when I was younger and I really wanted to learn, anything that had the tag yoga on it, I would just go, if I had the time, if I had the money, I certainly had the energy and interest, So I would just like hoard on different courses and workshops and whatever. I just couldn't get enough.
I think, Ori, like you're the kind of person that like just keep following, like you are so good at just trusting like which bits, so just keep doing it. I think it will find you, because honestly you will always amaze me with how much you're already doing and following that. So keep on doing it. You're rocking it.
It's really funny because I would say right back at you like Natalie, but yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but why don't we do that? So if Natalie, you're fine about doing that little like survey, so how people feel about the time, the date and time and everything. And yeah, and like I said today, I have a feeling that looks like I thought Saturday would be a good day for people, but looks like it's not the best day. So when it comes to this study, I have a feeling that like European time, maybe something like if it's Sunday, either Sunday morning or Sunday evening, but then we have to be mindful about the time difference when it comes to Bali, as Bali is ahead of time. So we can't do evening in Europe because then it would be nighttime in Bali.
I think a Sunday might work better because it feels like a lot of people are like out for dinner on a Saturday night, because obviously a Saturday, whereas a Sunday night in Bali would be fine, wouldn't it? And actually that Sunday probably could actually work quite well, but we can send something out and just see what most people say.
Yeah.
Something that I think could be also left open as an option, like might not work, but might surprisingly work. If some people are actually working remotely from home and something like that, also during the week around lunchtime, it's also like an option, because you can always get that. I mean, if we accept, as I did today, that we could be like eating in the meanwhile, but that's also an option that might open up like different spaces, because now a lot of people also in companies might still have at least a couple of days where they're working from home. And then that's something that usually you don't do anything at like lunchtime during the week, right? Like your commitments, like social commitments, are usually over the weekend or in the evenings. So yeah, just throwing it out there as an option also there.
Good idea also, absolutely. But yeah, let's see what comes out from the survey, and let's stay in touch. Are we? Maybe I should send you guys my my phone number, so it would be quicker to operate. Aren't we, Natalie, already connected in WhatsApp?
I think we're connected on Instagram, but I was going to ask you, Sanna, obviously we're both in the UK in Cornwall in August, September, so I also want to get some dates from you to to meet up and do something together as well. But yeah, your phone number would be good because WhatsApp's a bit easier, isn't it, than Instagram?
Yeah, I'll send you in the Instagram direct message my number. So then it's we can deal with all of these things much quicker. Yeah, perfect. But hey, it's been so fantastic to see you in person. So thank you for
thank you for just holding the space, Sanna, because like I needed this week. Like I've been all over the place, like, and I've been really struggling in lots of ways. So like it's brought me back to like my center. So I can't, it's for me, the timing was perfect. It saved me. And now I'm gonna like go for my rest of my weekend and I'm gonna feel a lot more grounded. So thank you.
Oh, lovely. Oh
yeah, thank you, Sanna. I also was thinking before when you were speaking, when you were talking about compassion and the rest, and I was thinking that even if I haven't gone back to Italy, I still feel that in some way I'm getting back into the hamster wheel, like to a certain degree. And like the talk about, those like are like important ground truths, and sometimes they get covered up with like a lot of other things that at the end of the day is not as relevant as those ground truths. So I thought I was like, yeah, that's true. And then I was like, yeah, that's Sanna. Like, yeah, it kind of sounds like Sanna. So it was great.
Yeah.
Have a little Sanna reminder.
Beautiful, lovely to hear. Puts a smile on my face. That's lovely. But yeah, so we'll get together soon. And by the way, Natalie, I think you have dyed your hair, right? It looks darker.
Yeah, it's really weird that Marina said that too, in that I always find when I like shed a skin, which is what I felt like with this coming home, I always change something. And actually I went to the hairdressers and like it was a bit of an accident because she said like, oh, this is my natural hair color. It isn't at all. It's like pretty much black, but I love it. And I'm almost like just got a new, but isn't it funny how sometimes we like need a physical change when we're like changing? So it's funny Marina said that, and I'm like, and also there were so many girls on the course I had massive crushes on because they were all really dark. So Ori, Ariana, like I just was inspired by the dark hair and the gold jewelry. So I'm now like basically being a groupie and copying you all, and I love it.
It suits you.
You're
so
amazing.
Well. It suits you.
It really looks nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like dark chocolate, right?
Yeah, it's like a bit of I'm like channeling an Egyptian vibe, I think, with the gold jewelry. Maybe a part like in Egypt. You never know.
Okay, next meeting when we go into philosophy, we want to coming out with this like a gigantic like a golden choker. Yeah,
you should have seen what I wore at Glastonbury, a massive headdress, like a golden massive. Incredible. So yeah, I'm definitely channeling an Egyptian vibe right now.
Your Cleopatra, which was like a big ass woman, like all hail Cleopatra, right?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that kind of hair. Beautiful. Hey, so fantastic. Thank you both. Thank you so much. And I have this recorded now, so I'll figure out a way. I
can do it, Sanna, if you want. I can put it on YouTube for you because I do a lot of that anyway with my stuff. I can just pop it on YouTube, make it private, and share the link in the WhatsApp group and email you the link if that's helpful. It'll take me 2 minutes.
Fantastic. So I wonder how though I can send it for you because the if
you can send it to me on WeTransfer. Have you heard of WeTransfer?
I've heard about it. Yeah, I've heard about it. So I just need to. I actually I have received stuff through WeTransfer, but I haven't used it myself. Like
it's really easy. It's so easy. It's all free. So when I get that, I'll pop it on YouTube and then send you the link.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll do like that. It's about the time for me to learn the WeTransfer as well. So it gives me the kick on my backside, you know. We talked about that before, didn't we? That kind of like sometimes we need to be forced to do something. Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sanna. Thank you.
Really, thank you. And we say hi to everyone who's watching this later.
Yeah, it's be weird they're watching this later.
Yeah.
You people.
Take
Bye,
care, ladies. See you soon. Ciao for now.
Ciao.
Ciao.